This video contains spoilers for the entirety of 2021's Dune. You've been warned. Hi, I'm Steve. Perhaps you're still not ready to brave the theater, but no worries, I've put my eidetic memory to good use, and maybe this perfect recollection of Dune will give you the push you need. Dune begins in Caladan, which I'm pretty sure is in Scotland or something, where Paul Atreides' mom, Jessica, is teaching him to become a nagging, bossy bitch.
Give me the water.
The Galactic Emperor sends his emissary, the cast of Among Us, and a goth grandma to tell Paul's dad Leto to go to Arrakis, and it seems like they have some sort of peace shortage because the Emperor has asked Leto to bring some of those when he comes.
The Emperor asks us to bring peace to Arrakis!
Meanwhile, on Gedi Prime, the Harkonnens, a race of sentient steamed pork dumplings who are also the sworn enemies of the Atreides, are mad because the Emperor told them to leave Dune because they were starting to stink in the sun. Paul is woken up in the middle of the night by his mom, who takes him to an old Bene Gesserit witch because it's time for him to become a man. She tells him to put his hand in her box, but surprise, surprise, Paul gets the old Bene Gesserit burn, which is what they call gonorrhea in the future. Paul says, "Why my pee-pee hurt?" but survives his first sexual experience, but the old lady steals a bowl by hiding it in her headdress. What the hell, lady? The Atreides make the move to Dune, taking extra special care packing up Duke Leto's minotaur mask. It's a sex thing. We don't have to go into it. In the capital of Arrakeen, they move into the palace, which is decorated all weird with stuff like catfish and tapeworms. Ugh. A mosquito gets into Paul's room and everyone freaks out trying to find the nest, but all they find is an incel who bricked himself into the walls with nothing but his VR headset, a fleshlight, and his Hatsune Miku body pillow. Back on Gedi Prime...
Damn, boy, he's thick! Boy, that's a thick-ass boy! Damn!
The Bene Gesserit asks the Baron Harkonnen not to kill Paul and Jessica, and he agrees, but he has his fat folds crossed behind his back. Idaho Potatoes is back from his mission with the Fremen, and he brought one of their leaders, Stilgar, who comes into the Duke's room, and there is immediate sexual tension between all these gorgeous men. But it's the desert, and they don't have any lube, so... Leto wants to meet with Liet Kynes, the Imperial ecologist. Kynes takes Leto, Paul, and Gurney out to see a spice harvester, and a sandworm comes, but the carry-all ship has a boo-boo. So while the Duke saves all the people, the sandworm comes and... The Duke wakes up in the middle of the night to discover that the old lady he stabbed for not cleaning up properly hasn't been cleaned up off the floor. Who is going to clean this up? Oh right, I killed her. I'm a dude. Oh no, somebody shoots him with a dart that makes his 3D glasses go all crazy. Turns out it was Dr. Hansy, but he only did it because the Duke is really scared of the dentist, so they always have to do this weird, most dangerous game roleplay every time he needs a tooth pulled. The Harkonnen show up, and with the help of the Emperor's street sharks, they kill pretty much everybody in the Arrakeen Palace and kidnap Paul and Jessica. Paul and Jessica manage to kill the Harkonnen kidnappers and set up a tent, but they accidentally hotbox it with spice, and Paul sees CGI, a wave of CGI washing over the galaxy, waving the banner of my father and spilling the pixels of my enemies on every known planet in the universe. The Baron shows up and does his best Steward of Gondor impression, but he forgets the cherry tomato. 0 out of 10, no memes for you, Stellan. He kills Yui and is about to make sweet love to Leto, but he forgot that Leto hasn't brushed his teeth yet, and everyone dies of halitosis. Jessica and Paul wake up, dig themselves out of the sand, and Paul immediately eats a mouse even though they've only been in the desert for like 6 hours. Ore-Ida shows up with Liet Kynes and takes them to an old office from the 60s while they try to figure this whole thing out. And Paul comes up with the 1 in a million absolute galaxy brain take that maybe they can fix all this if he offers to marry the Emperor's daughter. Hey, Shaddam, yeah, it's Paul. What's up? Look, man, I know my dad had you feeling all kinds of whack about your political dong or whatever, but look, I mean, you don't have to come kill me and Mom's. How about I come over, fuck your daughter, and we'll talk about it? Jesus, kid, I know you're 15, but getting your cherry popped isn't the solution to every problem. The Emperor's most trusted Olympic fencing team shows up and the Fremen take a few of them out, but eventually it's down to Dunkin' Donuts to save what remains of House Atreides. The baddies think they've taken him down, but he pulls out his surprise final move, that meme of him sneaking up to give Henry Cavill a hug. And he still dies. Duncan locked the door, but the Sardaukar brought their engineer from Half-Life Opposing Force and cut through the door, but Jessica, Paul, and Liet all split up and run away. Evil fleshlight. Liet tries to cross the desert, but realizes she accidentally brought her mountain climbing spikes instead of her don't get stabbed spikes. I hate it when that happens. Paul and Jessica escape in a thopter, but they run into a sandstorm. Jessica wants to fight, but Paul takes the just let it happen approach, and it works out. A strange and disturbing message to put in your movie, Villeneuve. They end up crashing, and now it's time to cross the desert on foot. In the Arrakeen Palace, the Harkonnen are Yeah, who am I kidding? I totally would. Anyway, the Duke is taking his gravy bath, and it's just a whole scene in a film. Back in the desert, Paul tells his mom they've entered worm territory, which freaked me out in the theater because that's what I say to girls before I whip it out. Paul knows his mom is both freaked out and she's just lost the love of her life, so she's super susceptible to pranks, and he tells her she has to walk like an idiot. She buys it, but, and let this be a lesson to all the would-be Bam Margeras out there, pranking mom does not go unpunished. Shai-Hulud shows up and tries to take Paul for his insolence, but someone plays the intro to Hot for Teacher somewhere nearby, and the worm can't resist. Paul and Jessica are met by the Fremen, but they're super thirsty. No, like regular thirsty, and want to drink their pee, but that's gross, so they fight. Paul punches Jemmis in his tum. Ooh, my tum! And Jessica grabs Stilgar from behind, and he feels her weirding way pressing into his back. They make a truce for now, but Jemmis demands tum justice. Jessica has trained Paul in the sacred Vogue technique, but Jemmis unleashes his drunken Chihuahua style. So they're equally matched. Paul wins out in the end, though, and the Sand People walk single file to hide their numbers, and that's it. That's the end of the movie. It's a pretty cool experience. Go see it, folks.